All right. So, hello, greetings. Happy Wednesday. I This is something that I feel like I am constantly trying to improve on. And so I figured like this would probably be something that a lot of us are trying to improve on. And so it would be a really great discussion piece for today. So, I feel like as leaders, we get so much on our plate, whether that's like we're leading our team, we need to be putting together team page content, we need to be coaching our people, we need to be doing our own personal business, we need to be communicating well with the corporate incentives, especially end of month and beginning of month. And there's just so much to do, right? Like, I'm not the only one that feels that way, surely. Like, I just feel like there's so much to do, and we've been going through, this is the second time our team is going through high performance habits. And that's just been a really good reminder for me of like, what is my output? Like, what output am I doing that matters the most? Because there's so many fires that we can be doing as leaders. And there are times at the end of the day, I will have been working all day long. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I even do today? Because I'm just like putting out so many fires. And I know that that is not the best use of my time. And that quickly can get us into management mode. Surely I'm not the only one that has felt this, right? Okay, perfect. So, um, Brendan Burchard, who's the author of High Performance Habits, he says that high performers have a very deliberate approach in planning their days, projects, and tasks compared to underperformers. High performers are good at saying no, even to good things, so they can say yes to the most important things. So there is a podcast I really like to listen to. It's Maxwell Executive Leadership. If you guys are ever like looking for really great like podcasts on leadership, I highly recommend this one. They're like 15 to 20 minutes. Really, really good. And so yesterday I was listening to one on my walk, and they were addressing the urgent, important quadrant. I will send that over to our thread of leaders, and then you guys can send it out to your people if you're not familiar with it. But that is just like a 4 square quadrant where you can figure out, is this task urgent and important? If so, I need to do it now. Is this task urgent but not important? If so, then I need to schedule it. Is this task important but not urgent? If so, I need to delegate. Is this task not urgent, not important? If so, I need to delete it. So I was listening to that yesterday, and that was just a really great reminder. But as I was listening, I was like starting to become a little frantic and kind of like, there's so much to do. Like, I don't know what to delete because we're dealing with people, we're working with people, and I want to serve my people. So even when I have somebody that comes to me with a task that really to me is not urgent and it's not important, it is to them. And so, like, I just have been really kind of wrestling with, what is my role? What do I need to do to get the most impact out of my time when I'm sitting down to work? So last week, Jordan, not everybody was able to be on the call, but I want you guys to have a pen and paper if you can, or use your phone, but get that ready. So last week, Jordan asked us, if your business tripled, so Lacey Wilcox, if your business tripled from where it is right now, I'm not putting you on spot, just giving you a name example. If your business tripled right now, what would that look like for you, for your family, for your team? And so last week, she encouraged us to really dream about it. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to write down, if you're able, if you're driving, please don't, but write down what it would look like for you if your business tripled, or what like your greatest ambition is with your business. So write that down. And once you have written it down, if you guys can put it in the chat, that would be awesome. I'll put mine in the chat too.
Can you repeat that? Sorry, I had
Yeah.
to take my kid to the
So,
potty.
what is your most ambitious dream with your business? In other words, Jordan asked last week, what would that look like for you, your family, your business, if your business tripled? So, what's your most ambitious dream? And we're all writing it down and then putting it in the chat.
Okay, can I just be the elephant in the room and say that I have been personally really struggling with vision and my why ever since I've become Emerald. Like this is what I wanted for the 4 or whatever years leading up to it. And now that I'm here,
Yep.
I truly have no idea.
Yeah.
Like
So
I know
that's
that my doesn't want to quit his job. I don't know. It's
yeah.
like we've been able to dream that big. And so it's hard for me even to like get my head in the space of that.
Yep. That's actually what I wrote, Chandler, at the very beginning, is I was like writing out my notes and I was saying like so many of us probably have gotten like we probably don't really have a strong vision anymore because we've achieved what we were going for, or we look and we're like, you know what, we feel good with where we are, we're content with where we are, we're making $10,000 a month, like I feel guilty for asking for more. And that's actually what I shared last week when Jordan asked that question. But then when I stopped and I kind of took that out of my head and I was like, okay, but what would that look like? And so I'm writing mine right here. But one of the thing that like really got to me was, well, one, something for my family is moving my family to Europe for 6 to 12 months. Like that would be a total dream, which I hadn't even thought of. But Chandler, when we were in the beach talking about the places that we'd want to go back in Mexico with you and Taylor and all of our group, like that really got me to thinking. So that was something that hadn't been on my mind for a long time. And that was like, okay, well, that's a new dream. Another one is I want to see 10 level ones become jewels of mine. I'd never verbalized that before. So maybe that's something that could also be a new vision for you. Maybe it has nothing to do with you. Maybe you guys are exactly where you want to be, but you have a vision of being a 10-star diamond. Because what that means is that's going to help 10 of your people find crazy amounts of success and them to have achieved so many of the things that they wanted. So it can go beyond you and what your family wants. Does that help, Chandler?
Yeah, that is super helpful. And I was actually just chatting with a level 2 the other day because like Jordan's doing a book study with some of our rubies and above. And they're all on the topic of vision. And like, of course, as a leader, we're like, what's your why? What are you working towards? And it's so easy to like preach about it. But I feel like at the jewel level, it is hard to put it in practice. But yes, definitely having more teammates and having more friends on a level 1 base that go jewel, like that is a huge passion. But I've never really looked at like what that's going to do to my income or my quality of life once I have several level 1s who are jewel, you know, that's the part that's really hard for me to like envision, I guess.
And I think that's super important though to sit in that, Chandler, and figure
Yeah.
out what your vision is, because if you don't have a vision, then you're going to be showing up to your business half ASS. You know, like you're not going to be sitting down knowing what your output is for. You're just going to be putting out fires. You're going to be in management mode if you don't have that clarity on where you're going and where you're taking your team. So I encourage you, if you're in that place that Chandler was saying, maybe try to peel back some layers and maybe take yourself and your family out of that picture. If you guys are in a place where you have everything that you dreamed of, think more in terms of what that's going to look like for your team. So now what we want to do, the next step in this like process here is, yeah, Lacey, that's right. Brendon Burchard is so good. And he talks a lot about that clarity also being a habit, that one of the 6 habits, the clarity is one of the 6 habits that you have to have for that high performance success. So go and read that too. Brendon Burchard, High Performance Habits. So now in this next process, because what we're doing is we're doing an exercise here. This is why I want you to have your pen and paper. So you've written out what your highest ambition is, what your dream is with your Plexus business. So this is going to give you vision and focus on what you're doing when you show up to your business every single day. So he tells us then, he says, okay, now you have your dream ambition. He says, if there were only 5 major moves to make that goal happen, what would they be? So what I want you guys to do, and I'm going to mute myself and I will type up in the chat and tell you what I did on mine. But what I want you to do is write out what that dream ambition is. And then I want you to think through, if you only had 5 major moves to reach that, what would that mean? Like, what would those 5 moves be? I'll put mine in the comments so you guys have an idea of an example. So as you guys are writing through this, I just want to make sure you understand the why behind this. Um, the why behind us breaking this down is so that way at the end of this process, we're going to have a clear vision on what we need to be doing when we show up to our business every single day, instead of like what I talked about at the beginning of putting out this fire and promoting this and doing this and helping this person doing this and just feeling totally chaotic in our day. So our goal here is to break down what we need to be doing every day. And Brendon Burchard, he talks about a 60-40 rule. And he says that 60% of your time spent needs to be on your real work. And that's what we're breaking down here. And then 40% of your time needs to be spent on strategy or team management or everyday tasks of running a business. So we're not eliminating some of those fires, but that's going to come after we've done our major outputs, which is what we're breaking down right now. So if anybody has any question or you're like, this feels hard, or I need you guys to help me with this, because I did this exercise by myself a few months ago and I was like, I don't really know. Like, if I need to grow 10 joules, I guess I just need to focus on the 4 pillars. And that didn't give me any more clarity. But when I broke it down today, I feel so much more in control of my schedule. Thank you, Allie. This is really good. Anybody have any questions or kind of want to share their 5 major moves to get to their dream? I want this to be interactive. I don't want it just to be me talking.
Well, I think like the whole putting out the fires thing that's what we have like our team chat for, like our level 1 chat, our team thread. That's super helpful for people, because then if they don't hear from us, they know they have a place to go to like ask for help, and like they know we're not one person. So I think it's totally okay to not be answering all the messages, because yeah, that's not fun at all.
I'm definitely one that I have a hard time feeling like, okay, today was I accomplished today. Today I did enough. You know, today I can not look at my phone for the rest of the evening. I kind of always feel like my wheels are rolling. And so, you know, thinking of my business tripling, that gives me a little bit of anxiety, I guess, just because I feel like that like contentment with getting this chunk amount done and knowing that it's moving me forward. So just kind of putting that out there, like, I don't know if it's a personality thing or if it's just, you know, a thought that I definitely am trying to reframe. Can everyone hear me? I have an earbud in, but I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. So just like freeing myself from that, and the like, I think just writing that out, like I do all those things, but I just gotta like give myself the grace to like know that it's going to compound with consistency.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Emily.
No, you go ahead,
Oh,
Joe.
I was just gonna say, I know like exactly what you're talking about because like that's me. Like well, it was me. But I was doing Jessica Heffley's coaching. And so that's something like we talked through in coaching. And she was like, well, like, what's enough? Like, when will you ever have it all done? And like, if you think about that, like, there's never going to not be something to do. Like, we always have something to do. And so that really helped me because I was like, that's just an unrealistic expectation we have on ourselves of like, I didn't do enough. And I think it just stems from the fact that like, we're not where we want to be yet. And so we feel like we didn't do enough because we're not seeing our goals met yet. And so I totally get it. But that really helped me to know like, okay, there's always going to be something to do. And so she helped me like the day before, set out your top 3 priorities. Okay, like do you need to do today that is going to move the needle forward right now, today? If you get those top 3 things done, like you can go to bed knowing you are accomplished. And so yesterday actually, and it's been a process. It's been like a struggle because I still feel that a lot. But yesterday, like I felt like, okay, there's a million things to do. Like, what do I even do? And then I thought, okay, I'm going to prioritize. This is like the number one. I actually broke it down to just one thing, which was getting our Fit for Fall challenge for our team. And I was like, that's what I'm going to focus on. Like, that's what I'm going to do today in my IPA. And that's it. And I felt so good going to bed last night because I did it. Like I did the Fit for Fall. My team's excited. We have this thing to push for the end of the month. And anyway, I don't know if that helps, but it's been super, super helpful for me.
There was a Allie, have you read High Performance Habits yet?
I have, and I think I actually need to probably open it up again. I did high performance like the coaching with Brooke when she had it, but it has been a good solid 2 years since I've done it.
One of the things that you said, and maybe I heard it wrong, but one of the things you said kind of reminded me of a story that he shares at the beginning of the book. He says something about this woman, Kate. She's highly successful, but she's like on the verge of like a breakdown. She's super anxious. She doesn't want to go to the next level because she feels like she already, where she is right now, she's not able to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just going to mute that just a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? She's not able to maintain. What is the word I'm looking for? Lacey, you know what I'm talking about. She's not able to like be in control of her schedule and her life right now. And so she can't even imagine what it's going to look like going to the next level. And so that's holding her back. So it kind of sounded a little bit maybe like what you were saying, Allie. And one of the things that he talks about is like implementing those 6 habits, which is all about like quality output, like what you're doing, which is what we're working on right here. This exercise is that quality output that we're working on. He talks about your energy, your habits, your productivity, your I can't remember all the others, but I would recommend going back to that because I feel like if you have just a few things that you're focusing on, you feel so much more in control. And like Joanna said, like you're making movements towards your goal. So what I would like us to do, I know a lot of you guys are probably still like thinking through this, of your breakdowns of your 5 major moves. But what I want us to do here though is, and I can use mine as an example. What I wrote here is if I want 10 level 1 jewels, my 5 major moves would be, I need to recruit business builders. I need to walk them through a simple and focused onboarding process. I need to help them build their teams. I need to work with current level 1s who want to build the business. And 5, I need to help them build their team. So if I'm wanting to see major growth in my level 1s and in their businesses, those are the 5 things that I pinpoint of what I need to do. Well, that still feels overwhelming to me. And so what I did is I took it one step further. Okay, what does that actually mean? And so what I did is, I'm actually going to copy this and put this in the chat, is I took that a little bit of a deeper dive of, okay, well, how do I do those 5 moves? And so what I did was I just wrote out, I'll put this in the chat. And I want you guys to do this too, because this has been super helpful for me. And I really believe that this is going to be very helpful for all of you too. So I had my 5 major moves. And so then I'm sitting here thinking, how do I do those 5 major moves? Like, logistically, when I sit down to work, what does that look like to recruit business builders? So I broke that down. So how do I recruit business builders? I wrote growing my network, reaching out to dream teamers, following up, and casting the vision on social often. So that's one way to do my 5 major moves. Second was, how do I walk my business builders through a simple and focused onboarding process? Well, I'm going to do that by creating one with my system and take them one step at a time. I'm going to do my personal work with them. So we're creating new leaders together. I'm not in management mode. I'm doing it with them. So that's my second thing. My third major move was building their team, like helping them build their team. Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to create a strong community where they can plug their team into and have support. And I'm going to have a duplicatable onboarding process that they can pass on to their new leaders. So you guys see what I'm doing here? Like, I'm just bullet pointing. What does that actually mean? Fourth one was, how do I work with current level ones who want the business? Well, the way I'm going to work with my current level ones is I'm going to do monthly coaching calls with specific goals. I'm going to create that onboarding system and take them one step at a time. Then I'm going to do my personal work with them. So we're both creating new leaders. So you see, like, there's some overlap here. Like, I'm talking about this new onboarding system multiple times. I'm talking about doing my own personal work with my team multiple times. So I'm like kind of getting down into the depths here of what this looks like for me as a leader to reach that big, ambitious goal. And then that fifth major move that I said was to help my level ones, my current level ones, help them build their team. How do I do that? Creating a strong community where they can plug their team into. So that's an overlap. And then having that duplicatable onboarding process. So that's an overlap. So then the next step here, so you guys see, like, we're doing all these different steps. What is that flow that Melissa Eichenhorst talks about? I'm sure it's in habits of the high performance habits with your why. What is that? That 7-layer deep why. What is that called? Megan, you're shaking your head. What is that called?
It's like the 7-layer exercise.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing here, but for us to know what our outputs are. Okay, so then what I did, and I hope this is not overwhelming to you. I'm not a great trainer. I know what I'm doing, but I don't really know how to voice it, but I hope this is helping. So we're just breaking these things down step by step. So then what I did, you guys, is I went and I copied all of my, like, okay, well, what does this mean? Of my 5 major moves, I went and I copied all those things, and then I deleted out the repetitive things. So what that actually meant for me is I only have 6 things I truly need to focus on, like 6 specific things that I truly need to focus on, because there was so much overlap in here. So the 6 things that I need to do every single day is grow my network, reach out to my dream teamers, follow up and cast vision on social media often. I need to create that onboarding system so I can share it with my new business builders. I can share it with my current business builders. I need to create a strong community where my people can plug their teams into. And then I need to do monthly coaching calls. So those are just like the 6 things I was able to like break down after figuring out what my 5 major moves will be to reach my highest ambition. So to me, that is way less overwhelming, and that gives me guidance and a target on what I need to be doing every day. So those are the things I'm going to sit down and do every day first, and then the other things I can do after. But until I have those 6 specific things that I have done every single day, I'm going to have to say no to other things. So in closing here, Brennan says that real work isn't replying to everyone's false emergencies, shuffling papers, deleting junk emails, posturing to look good, or attending meetings. Real work is producing quality output that matters. And so my hope here, this is Emily Burgess talking, not Brennan Bouchard. My hope here is that by us figuring out what those 5 major moves are, and then doing a deep dive in what each one of those would require, and then going and figuring out what you need to be doing every single day, my hope is that now you kind of have a more focused idea on what that output that matters is for you and for your goals. He says that whenever this is found, like when your real work is found, the output that matters, whenever that's found, breakthroughs and wealth tend to follow. So I hope that is helpful. Does anybody have any thoughts, questions, anything on that?
I just keep feeling reminded of what Christina Williams said at wherever we were, Emerald Extravaganza 2 weeks ago, and that message will always stick with me. And she said, even at the level of Jewel, we have to pay ourselves first. And that message like will always sit with me because so many days I get lost in the sauce of graphics and systems and how can I create this new incentive and this new thing for my team. And I'm like, wait, I haven't even sent new messages out in like 3 days. And like first and foremost, we have to be leading by example. And if we're not consistently doing our IPA, like what good are we providing to our team, honestly? So that message has always stuck with me. I've repeated it to my team several times now, but I think just more specifically, once we get to this position with like large teams, it's so important to just remember the basics, and just get back to like going silver every single month and helping friends go silver.
Because when we are in activity, we have value to give to our team. We have value by saying, this is what I just sent out. This is a conversation that I'm having. This is an obstacle that I had to overcome. This is a really great training that helped me in this area. Your team feels supported because they don't feel like you're just over there doing whatever. Like they feel in partnership with you. And there's a little bit of that FOMO. Like they see that you're working and you're figuring out how to fit this into your day. You're figuring out how to prioritize this because it's important. And so you are leading by example, and your success is attractive to people, and people want that. And you, me, we as leaders are the momentum creators. We're the energy creators. And if we're not out doing our own personal work and output that matters, we're not creating energy at all. Meg, were you going to say something?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a question or a couple questions. When you say, so on your top daily focus is growing your network, how are you doing that exactly?
Well, that's a great question. That is something that I don't know. And so that is an area that I'm really working on. I watched a really great Fraser Brooks video yesterday. I'll send it over to our thread, but I'm just right now trying to like study and figure that out. But I'll send that over to our thread. It was a really good one. I think Joanna Miller and her Sapphire have done it in the past where like you get little videos from your happy customers and like you create it into a reel. And that was one of the suggestions he had. This is like very new for me. I don't know. So I'll let you know whenever I figure it out.
Okay. Well, because I know that we've just, I've been encouraging people on my team to be posting more. I don't know if you all agree with this concept, but I see various people and they're just in front of people, in front of their audiences more. And so going back a little bit to how we used to train and how we used to do things instead of, because I think stories are great and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying we shouldn't keep doing the stories, but I think sometimes we show up so much in there, we're missing the majority of our audience, which is our, main Instagram feeds or main Facebook feeds. And so that's something that I've been encouraging my team to do. And I'm personally trying to do more of like, what if I showed up 3 times a day and back in the day when I was really working to go Emerald, one post about life, a product post, a business post, and then sprinkle in some call to comments.
Megan, I just want to say real fast, I'm in a diamond mastermind thing, and Brenda Martin is in there, and she said that she's trying to grow her network. And I mean, she's got 3,000 followers on Instagram, so she's not got like a huge following, but she was saying that she's been doing 1 reel a day, and that's been bringing in a lot of new followers. So I think you're spot on with that.
My Emerald, I don't know who's on here today, but Emerald or Angie Ambrosetti has been doing more reels since we got back from Mexico, and she said it's doing that for her. She actually made a little training video I can share with you guys, but she's noticing, and she's like, it doesn't even take a long time. But Trisha Rieger was talking about like do reels, like do multiple reels a day, but because you're in front of your audience. And several people or a couple people that I've chatted with said that they're following other people now, like just not Plexus people, but just people that are adding value to their life because of a reel that they saw pop up somewhere. And so I think that we're onto something with that. And I did have another question with Oh, monthly coaching calls. Who are you doing those with, and how often are you? And what do they have to do to earn your time, or is it like group coaching settings?
So I'm doing just for my level 1 business builders. And if they want it, they have to fill out a survey that I've created that like takes some time and thought for them to put into, of kind of rating where they are with their belief, their action, their resiliency, and their vision. They have to like write out what they're hoping to get from the call, how they're feeling about their business currently, where they'd like to see their business go, specific things that they would like to discuss on our coaching call. So there's a little bit of like effort that they have to put into that, and it's just my level 1s right now. We do have other things, like we've got a weekly accountability group and book study with our entire team, all of my downline, and so I think that also helps. It's maybe like a bigger coaching call, if you will, but specifically for me, it's just my level 1s. Joanna, were you going to say something? There's so many great things in the comments here, Megan, also on growing their network from.
I was just going to say really quick that something I did that was really simple to grow my network was, because I want to grow locally, is I have my favorite local coffee shop that I go to a lot, and they know me there. And so I went to their Instagram page and I follow them, but I went and like started following people who followed them, and like they go there a lot. And so just kind of an easy way. And I've noticed like more of them are like watching my stories, or like at least local people. So just kind of an easy thing.
Well, I really encourage you guys, if you didn't do this on the call, I really encourage you to go write out what your most ambitious dream is. Then figure out what the 5 major moves will be for you to achieve those goals or that ambitious dream. And then do a deeper dive into those 5 moves to figure out specifically what that means for you to do daily to reach those goals. And then put it into bullet points so you feel confident knowing what you need to do, your 60-40 work focus, when you sit down to do your work. I hope this is helpful, and we will see you all next Wednesday. Thanks for being on. Bye.